minutes, but until she joins, you all can just hang out and talk to me. I can tell you a little bit more about this project. So when you see me going live on Tuesdays with all of these amazing women, it's part of us building up the momentum for something even bigger, right? All of these women will still be a part of the T2T project, because we're going to be doing some women's conferences. We're going to be doing lots of things so that we can be together, not just on Instagram Live, but we can actually be together and fellowship together, right? But even bigger than that, every season I'm going to have 7 women. So it's 7 women, 7 stories of trauma to triumph, right? And these 7 women you have not been able to meet yet. Now you can get a preview of them if you go to my Trauma to Triumph website, which is trauma, the number 2, triumph, DOC.com. Okay. And then you can get a preview of some of the women, the 7 women that are going to be a part of this project. And what we've been doing, we've been following them around. We've been getting footage of them in their current lives. And then we're going to sit down in a TV studio, and we're going to sit down just like I'm sitting right here, and we're going to talk face to face. Many of these women, y'all, have gone through some things that is going to blow y'all away, right? And I can't give it all away, but I will say that some of them have had traumatic medical situations. One of the young ladies went through 13 different surgeries on her brain. 13. We've got one woman who was born with 2 sets of chromosomes, which allowed her, unfortunately, to carry different types of cancer throughout her body, and that she has been fighting and winning, fighting and winning, fighting and winning pretty much all of her life. We have someone who spent over, let's see, almost 20 years in the federal penitentiary for murder. Yes. We have someone who, another good one. We have someone who spent years and years in the streets doing things that, you know, sometimes when you're hit with unfortunate life circumstances, you know, you got to do some things that you may not ordinarily plan to do with your life. But this young lady was thrown into the streets of drugs and all kinds of stuff, right? That I can't really get into because I don't want to spill the beans. But when you look at her life now, when I tell you, baby, when I tell you about these stories of trauma to triumph, when we film these 7 women and we get this first season out, y'all, you're going to need your tissue. You're going to need your popcorn. You're going to need some more tissue. And then you're going to need your drink, whatever your drink beverage of choice is. If you're cannabis, you know, I'm a cannabis advocate. You all know that I'm a medical cannabis patient, so I don't shy away from saying that I am an advocate for cannabis for medical purposes or for whatever purposes. It's a natural plant, and I am an advocate for it, and I don't shy away from it. That's one of the things that I will be talking about more as we go through this Trauma to Triumph project, because as you know, when people go through trauma, mental health becomes a huge part of their healing. And did you all know that cannabis can really, really help with a lot of mental health disorders? Cannabis helps with anxiety. Cannabis helped me. I'll share my personal story real quick. Since Tramika hasn't joined, I'm not sure how long I'm going to give her to join, but when y'all get tired of hearing from me and I bore y'all, just give me some signs on here, and then I'll just end it and I'll try to call her and we'll reschedule. But for now, let me tell y'all about November the 1st, 2014. So this is one of the things that caused trauma for me in my life, right? November the 1st, 2014, I'll never forget it. I was going out to celebrate my my bestie at that time. Her name is Nisha, and we were going to celebrate her birthday. And we all had tickets for a boxing match, a professional boxing match at Constitution Hall. Y'all remember how they used to have boxing matches at different places? Maybe they still do. I don't know. I had my daughter, one of my daughters with me. one of her girlfriends, and I think they were freshmen in college, and then a bunch of us other girls, right? My sister was there. And during intermission, you know how during intermission, that's things, you can go out into what they call the vestibule, right? And so we all out there doing intermission, thinking we cute and getting our drinks and all that kind of stuff. So it's time to go back in for the second half of the fight. Well, some people started, or some guys started arguing out in the vestibule. And it was one of the guys, he had on, you know how the boxers wear them robes or whatever those things are, they wear the robes and stuff. So he still had his boxing robe on out there. And all of this commotion started. Next thing you know, the yelling turned into a brawl, a fight out in the vestibule with the one of the boxers that was on the ticket. And so me as a mom, my first instinct was get my daughter safe, because I knew that that kind of stuff can turn into something bigger, right? So we started, we started running. Everybody started running. It turned into a crazy scene out there in the vestibule. And so I shoved my daughter and her friend into the doors onto the right where they could get back to their seats. I was like, get in there. I couldn't get into. I see the fight coming towards me. I tried to get out the other door, which was to the left, but the Constitution Hall had that door locked. So I didn't have a choice but to try to go back into the same doors that my daughter, I had pushed them into. By the time I did that, y'all, I got trampled face forward. Didn't even know that they were coming to trample me because of this fight. So I got trampled face forward. I got knocked unconscious completely. It's still hard for me to talk about. The medical staff at Constitution Hall, thank God it was a boxing match where they had medical staff there already. So they came, put me on. This is what people were telling me, right? Because now I'm unconscious, so I don't know. But they came right away. My sister said they came right away, put me on one of those stretcher things and put that smelling salt up in my nose. And then they said that's when I started regaining consciousness, right? I remember when I regained consciousness, I remembered a white doctor standing over me, and he was asking me, do I know who I am and that kind of stuff. And all I remember, again, like as a mom, it's just something in us, y'all, because I was knocked unconscious. And the first thing I remember when I got that smelling salt and I came to consciousness was, where's my baby? Because I mean, she wasn't a baby. She was a freshman in college, but they always my babies. Because I didn't remember or see her get to safety. So I didn't know. Then I heard her voice, though. I heard her saying, crying and going crazy. She was going ballistic. I'm trying to get to me, because she didn't know. She thought her mom could have died, right? Because all she saw was that her mom was passed out, on knocked unconscious out on Constitution on the floor. And they wouldn't let her come around until I had come back to consciousness. So she didn't know, and she was going crazy. So long story short, of course, the ambulance came, and my sister was allowed to ride in the ambulance with me, and everyone else that was there with me, even my friends, they all came to the hospital. My daughter and my daughter's friend, and we went to GW, and yeah, I really went through it, y'all. I had one of them things on my head, that for when you have head injuries, and I couldn't move my head, neck, or anything like that. But God is so good, man. I had a swollen head, like from here to here. I didn't have to spend over, I think I stayed there maybe one night. I don't remember. I stayed there one night. And when I was released, they did say, I suffered a major head concussion. I went home with strict orders that I wasn't allowed to watch television. I wasn't allowed to be in light for longer than a certain amount of hours. Um, I had a lot of blood right here because I hit the not concrete, but whatever it is on the floor in there. Maybe it's wood or something. I don't know. But I hit it face forward because I didn't know I was going to be trampled. And so I had a lot of blood here, which they were concerned about. So I really had to just kind of stay chill for a while. And when I started, I had to go get MRIs regularly. And so the swelling in my head eventually started to go down. When it started to go down, everything turned like black and blue. Like I had two black eyes. I'll show y'all. I'll post a picture. Maybe I will. I'll post a picture on here, like a before, then and now, just so y'all can see what I'm talking about, how serious it was. So I had like these black eyes. It made it look like I was in like a fight myself, but I wasn't. It was the blood from my head draining. And and so I remember days, like and real quick, just not to get too far off of this, but that was during the time when I first had started really having a friendship with Stan, my husband now. And we had met that year on Facebook in August. So in August, we started talking every day on the phone. He was living in a total different state. He was in Atlanta. And so we were just talking every day and building a friendship. So by the time I had this head injury in November, he and I were like, like this already, but hadn't seen each other. We were still over the phone every day. So I even called him, I think, that night from the hospital, or I texted him a picture and showed him what happened to me. So we were talking on the phone every day during my recovery, and he was able to see my progress and see how things, how much I had to go through, how all of the extensive testing I had to go through. I had all of these things all the time, like glued into my scalp, all of these wires and stuff. Like it was an ordeal, y'all. I was working at the law firm that just let me go a couple months ago. But I was working there, and I was on disability for a long time, from November through probably the summer. And even in the summer, when I went back, I was still on like short-term disability. I was only able to go back for a few hours a day. My job had to get me a sofa in my office. I was director of benefits director, so I had a huge office. And I was able to get a sofa in my office because I was required medically to still lay down. I had to turn the lights off in my office every day for twice a day. And I had to lay down on that couch in my office, y'all. So that was a traumatic experience for me, for my daughter, really. My daughter had to go through mental health. Um, she had to get mental health treatment up while she was in college. Her grades tanked. All she thought about was seeing her mom unconscious at that boxing match that night. And it really, really bothered her for several months. So it didn't just take me out, it took her out too, because you just imagine you seeing your mom like that and thinking that she's gone. And so it was very traumatic for her as well. Um, but like I said, God is so good, y'all. God is merciful. He's everything to me. And he had a different plan for my life. I could have died that night. He said, no, no, that's not what's going to happen. But what needed to happen though, I remember I was going out a lot, a lot. I was always out. And I think God needed me to just slow down. He needed me to change my direction, right? And that slowed me all the way down. And I was able to refocus. I was able to, be more of a grown up, able to focus on my new man. We finally got to, so we dated online and FaceTimed and stuff for months, from August all the way through my head injury situation. And then we finally got to see each other in February of 2015. So now I'm healed enough where I can move around and obviously go visit Stan, but still not completely healed because I deal with things like vertigo. I deal with blacking out, not knowing when I'm going to get dizzy, falling, all of that kind of stuff. I continue to have panic attacks, y'all. I still to this day cannot go in certain environments. If I can't be right next to the exit door, it's a wrap for me. And Spotlight Over the City, we had to cover an event at Constitution Hall a couple weeks ago. Guess who couldn't go? Me. I haven't stepped back foot into that facility since November 1st, 2014. I can't do it. I cannot. Um, But I said all of that to say that was one of the traumatic experiences that I'm gonna share throughout this project. So I'm just sharing it with you all first, since I didn't get Tramika to join. And you know what, y'all? She might be thinking, because I'm on East Coast time. I wonder if she's thinking, because she's in Chicago, and I wonder if she's thinking that it was 8:30 her time. I bet that's what happened. But anyway, cannabis ended up helping me because I had to start going to a psychiatrist because it started really messing with my mind, what happened to me. And the psychiatrist started telling me I was going to have to be medicated. And I ain't with that. Y'all know that. I left, not left, but we parted ways from my good job of director of benefits because I'm not with getting a vaccine. So, I ain't with being on medication for nothing for my mind. So when the psychiatrist told me I needed to be medicated to get my dizzy spells and my anxiety, and I would have like heart palpitations and all of this old kind of stuff and a lot of migraines because I still have a hematoma right here, which is a small little putty jelly like blood that's right here. If you feel it with your finger, if you touch it with your finger, you can feel it. But because it's right here, they couldn't surgically remove it without really risking my life. So they decided to leave the hematoma here and here, which means I cannot suffer another impact to my forehead. That can't happen. So I can't do things like I can't roller skate. I can't do things that could put me in a situation where I might fall. So I lost the ability to do a lot of fun things after this head injury. But cannabis really did help me, y'all. I told the psychiatrist I wasn't going to be medicated. And so I decided to be medicated, but naturally. And it really helped. I don't have as many migraines as I used to have. I don't have the vertigo at all. Every now and then I'll get really dizzy or the blurred vision comes. I will have blurred vision, they said, probably the rest of my life. It just depends, when it happens. It just happens. But cannabis really, really curbed a lot of the things that I suffered from that traumatic head injury. And so yes, I am. Stan is on here. He talking about something. That's why he can't put me on the wall. Listen, you can put me up on the wall. Just don't bang my head up against the wall. Okay? So, y'all, that's an inside joke. I'll have to tell y'all about that. No, what y'all need to do is go get a copy of his book. It's called A Gangster's Cry. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but it's called A Gangster's Cry. And read that book, and then you might get our inside joke, and I'll tell you about it later. So yes, my head injury was my traumatic incident, and they said I will never be fully recovered from it. And I'm okay with the things, the residual effects. Again, I have my life, I have my daughter, I have my sister, I have the rest of my children, I have an amazing husband, my parents are still alive. Listen, and I got y'all, I got all my friends. So me having a hematoma that causes me to have, blur vision here and there, sometimes dizziness here and there, unexplained. I'm cool with that for the reasons that I just shared. I have all the other things to be to be grateful for. And like I said, I feel like God had a different plan for my life. And he really, really made sure that he always covered me, even when Satan tried to take me out that night. God was like, no, sir, not my daughter. No, no, no. She got some other things to do. She's got to be a wife to stand long. He is a king who's got an assignment on his life to come out there and really, really do some amazing things for God. And he needed a wife. So I could not be taken out November 1st, 2014, y'all. And I'm here to do some more amazing things through this Trauma to Triumph project. So let's bring this all full circle. I am going to be talking more about the benefits of cannabis and how it does heal. I do have one of my Trauma to Triumph ladies is a cannabis company owner now, and she's going to talk about the trauma that she went through. Listen, she was born on the West Coast during a time where when you have a black father and a white mother, you are not going to have an easy life, and she did not. And so I can't wait for you all to meet her. I can't wait for you all to meet all 7 of the women. But that's not it. I've already got women signed up for season 2, y'all. Yes. And guess what else? I'm claiming, here's what I'm claiming, and we're going to all touch and agree. We're going to get Viola Davis on this show. We're going to get Mary J. Blige. We're going to get Taraji J. Henson. We're going to get Demi Lovato. We're going to get Shaka Khan. We're going to get Iyanla Vanzant. We're going to get Oprah. Who else did I say we're going to get? It's like 3 others that we're going to claim. We're going to touch and agree. Let's touch. And we're going to get them to be a part of this project. They're going to say yes. Okay. Let's put it in the universe, y'all. If all of us work together, we're all in this together. I don't see a reason why that won't happen. Right? Hey, Toya. Hey.